book on boundaries, Allison?
I am reading the book on boundaries, but my mom doesn't get our Patreon episodes. That's why I can talk about it.
Your poor mom. We were just
Over
everyone.
there.
We were just talking about how Allison. She's just sharing everybody's business on the internet.
It's my business that I'm going to be sharing. Don't be ugly. Don't be rude. Gosh.
Oh man. So everyone, that's what you got. That's what you didn't hear. So the people can see us while the countdown's going, but they can't hear us. That's what we're talking about. Allison and boundaries. It's like Allison, you're just telling all your people's business. Oh.
No, Chris is being really mean to me, actually.
Okay, no, don't say that because no one can hear it and they're gonna believe you. I was not being mean to you.
You said that mean thing about me.
Look,
To make it, you were being mean.
You're short, and I don't think it's an insult to call someone short.
What? Let's just get started, okay? It's your turn for the awkward story, and I can't wait to make fun of you.
Oh, I didn't even put my notes in there yet. I know.
Oh no, and we have to start the quick time.
Oh yeah, how's everybody doing, by the way?
Yeah, fill us in.
Thanks for joining us. We got all the Patreon people coming in strong already. They were here before we were.
Were they?
Yeah, I was very impressed. Very impressed by that dedication.
Love it. We have Scroggy Mama. We have Beth Ann. Who else do we have?
We got Shirley.
Logan. I love it. Love it. Love it.
Oh yeah,
love
we got to
it.
join Discord. Put our audio in Discord. If anyone...
Oh yeah, that's right. I got to do that too.
Boom.
Thank you. Okay, I'm in Discord. I'm recording on QuickTime. I'm a little bit sleepy.
Well, you're drinking wine. You're not helping yourself any on the staying awake side.
It's almost my
go.
bedtime. It's 7:32. Cheers. Clink.
Hope this water doesn't go straight to my head. Oh.
You're so weird.
Oh man. Okay. So
Okay.
I have to look at my awkward story. I was like, I kind of forgot. I told you I was prepared, and then I completely forgot what it was going to be.
So you have it figured out?
I got it right here. Where's it? Oh, okay. This is a good one. This
Okay,
has
hold
to do
on.
with
We have to clap.
restaurants. All right. You ready? You want me to count us down, or you counting us down?
I want to count us down.
All right, go for
Okay,
it.
everyone get your clap ready. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Got it. You always make me nervous when you count down. I'm like, I have no idea when this clap is going to come.
After 1.
But you got to say clap.
You
You got to say
What do you-
clap.
am I supposed to say clap?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right.
Oh, goodness.
Let's see.
Okay.
Oh, so Beth Ann, she said she let me know that the water is going to go straight to my bladder, so I should be
That
okay.
should be where it goes. I think he's worried about it going straight to his head and him
Yeah.
sweating.
I
Is
don't.
that what?
No, I meant like I didn't want to get drunk on this water.
Oh, I thought you meant you didn't want to sweat and have water droplets all over your head, because that's what you always do. You have to turn off your AC, and then you sweat, and then you have to have your towel, and you have to wipe your head.
But it's actually really cold for us right now, so it is.
What?
It's beautiful.
So jealous. What is it?
Let me see. For us, cold it's 62 degrees right now. It's a beautiful 62.
That is sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather. It is not that here, unfortunately. Right now it is, and it's humid also. It's
Ugh,
76.
Humid
Mhm.
in,
we live in
November.
Houston.
Oh,
Yeah, yes.
oh.
That's how it works here. It's 76. Today was a high of 84. It was brutal.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
But next Saturday is whenever we start getting, next Monday on November 14th, we get like weather in the 60s, so that's exciting. There have been Christmases here where we're just like running around in shorts.
Oh yeah, we've
and
had
it's
that too.
just like hot.
We've had 90-degree Christmases before. I'm like, this is stupid.
we have. It's kind of sad.
This is not what all those Disney movies told me life was going to be like.
Mm-mm. No.
Speaking of
Not at
holidays, though, even though we're recording this now, what is it, November 3rd? This episode is going to be the week before Thanksgiving, and then the Patreon's going to be the week of Thanksgiving. So we can sprinkle in some holiday stuff, a little early Thanksgiving talk here on the podcast.
Okay. But are we doing one? Oh, and then we're taking off, so we need to tell them about that.
Yeah, we do, Allison.
Okay, we'll do that at the end.
Get on
Okay, let's get started.
Okay. All right, let me get my window open here so I can read what's happening. And we'll go from there. All right. So this story here, Allison, to give you a little context before I get into it, It has to do with like a restaurant. So, a restaurant experience. One of my most awkward ones to kind of get you prepped for that. Oh, you're like,
Oh, you have it. Is this not you
Are you gonna tell
starting?
the story? No, I wasn't telling the story yet. I was getting you prepped.
I thought you
I was
were.
stalling.
I was like,
I was stalling as I was
you're
opening up Google
getting
Drive.
getting the preface here. Like, let's keep going
You're
now.
like, Chris, this is a boring story. If this is how it's going to be. All right, let me do this here. Oh, I get to be big this time. So I have this policy, right? If I'm at a restaurant and I don't like what I'm eating, I don't send it back. I'm not going to complain because I don't want spit in my food. Like whatever I get, I'm going to say thank you and I'm going to eat it. And there was this restaurant that was near one of my old jobs, like years and years ago, like over 10 years ago, probably. And there was this Thai place and it was great. I love this place. It was amazing. It was like within minutes of my office. It was perfect. And I was like, you know what? I'm being adventurous today. I'm going to try something else. So I ordered this eggplant dish and I don't know if I liked eggplant or not at the time because I'd never really eaten it, but I was like, you know what? Everything else has been good. This should be great. So they bring it out to me and I was like, oh, this is not good. This is not delicious. And I was contemplating, I was hungry, but I didn't want to eat this because it wasn't good. So I was like, do I walk out? I never said anything back, but these people are really nice. I'm sure they'll understand. I'm gonna take a chance. So the guy comes over and I was like, I'm really sorry. I didn't really like this that much. Could I get something else? And he goes, why? This is yummy. Why don't you like this? And I was like, I just don't really like it that much. And he gave me this look and I was like, I should not have said this. And he took the plate away and he brought me another dish. And that's when it got weird. I forgot I got to push the button, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
Hey, this is Chris.
And this is Allison. And you're listening to This Is Awkward.
That is the name of the show that we do. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It flashed on the screen a few seconds ago.
That's right. And Chris, okay. First off, I just want to say I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Because I know how hard that is for you
it was
to
hard.
stand up for what you believe in. And I feel like most restaurants would be totally understanding. Was this like a family-owned restaurant? So they were like what?
Yeah, this wasn't a chain. Like this wasn't a chain. I don't know if there was more of these, but it was large enough. Like there was like a lot of tables in there, but it was like a one-off type restaurant. I don't think there was like other Thai places like this.
Did you say this is not yummy?
I just looked at him because when he said that, I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to someone telling me this is yummy. Like you're saying no, but I'm telling you this is yummy. You should like this. And so he asked me very reluctantly, like, what would I like in its place? And I'm like, oh no, I should just say I don't want anything. But I told him the dish that I normally get. So this thing I always get, I don't remember what it is now at this point, but he was like, okay. So he comes back and it doesn't look right, Allison. This dish, I eaten it multiple times and just something looked off. It was like, there was like specks of something in it that weren't normal.
Eggplant?
No, this was, he chopped up the eggplant and sprinkled it in there. He's like, you're going to eat this eggplant. There was something wrong with it. It was just off. And I was like, this doesn't look like it normally does. And I just didn't eat it. I just sat there and I didn't eat it. I was with someone else and I just let them eat and had a conversation. And I was like, I'm not eating this.
He did something to my food. Is that what you're thinking?
He did something to this food. I don't know what he did, but he did something. And I don't trust it. And that is why I do not send food back. And that was the one and only time I've ever done that.
I've never sent food back ever. I don't think.
Never?
I don't think so.
It's too dangerous. It's too risky.
I mean, I don't know if I would say it's risky, but like sometimes I'll get like a steak and I've like learned, I used to like my steaks, medium well, and then it was medium. And then eventually I'm like, I don't even like medium. I want medium rare, but it was like my fault because I ordered medium. And so it's like my tastes have changed. So maybe I've wanted to send it back, but it's like what I asked for. I don't know, but I'm proud of you because I know that took courage. And I hope that didn't ruin this courage forever.
Oh, it did. I never went back to that restaurant and I've never sent food back again.
The guy's probably like, he ate the poisoned food and died.
He's in the back
because he never returned. Oh
no,
my gosh.
I think only exception. I think the more you pay for the food, the more you can do. So I think if you're at like a super fancy place, then I think you have some room to be like make a small complaint. Like, oh, I was asked for this, but I got this. If I'm paying like $200, I'm going to I'll say it. But if I'm at a place that it's costing like $15, I'm not saying anything. Look, they're doing what they're gonna do. They're not getting paid enough to be accommodating all my complaints. So I'm just gonna eat this food.
That's interesting because my children don't pay me anything for the food I make them, yet they complain all the time. Matt never complains. In fact, what's funny about having kids, Chris, you wouldn't know this, is as they get older and they're picky, I'll make dishes, I'll make new recipes, and like me and Matt will love it, and the kids will hate it. And I'm like, man, we're gonna eat so good when these kids leave because we're not gonna have any restrictions. Yeah, like we're just gonna have no restrictions. But that's a pretty awkward story. I love it. I love that it happened to you specifically because I know how much it like made you want to die inside. Oh, and that's what we're here for. We're here
to watch me suffer.
No, sometimes selfishly, but mostly to talk about the listeners, awkward money stories. And we like to talk about how to navigate them without losing your friends and family along the way.
Yeah, and this show is only possible because of all of you submitting your awkward stories into us. We have a great one sent in by one of our patrons.
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh, I was so happy when I saw this come through. I could relate to this. And if you want to be like this amazing person, I'll just shout her out. Scroggy Mama in the Discord. If you want to be like Scroggy Mama. And send in your awkward story. You got multiple ways to do it. So one, you can just give us a call. You can call 707-200-8259. We will not pick up the phone. We promise.
No, you can leave us a message. Sorry. I thought you were going to keep going.
Okay. And then also, you can go to awkwardpodcast.com and there you can leave a written story. You can leave a voice message. You got a lot of options. We want to make it so you could just send in an awkward story anytime. You got plenty of ways. And we're running low. Like we said, we're down at the bottom of the barrel of our awkward stories. We're scraping by. So if you got one you want to send in to us, we would more than appreciate it.
Whether it's happened recently or it happened many years ago, we want to hear it. We want to talk about it because, not just because it's fun to talk about awkward stories and awkward situations, but because I truly do think that it helps people realize how to navigate their own awkward money situations that we find ourselves in. And that's like money complicates everything, but it can make so many things awkward. And we just want to help you get through it. So anyway, send them in. awkwardpodcast.com or 707-200-8259.
Do you have that memorized now? Do you actually know the number?
Oh my gosh, I have that memorized.
I cannot believe
I'm
it.
Super proud of myself. When I started saying it, I had a lot of confidence, and about halfway through, I was like, oh crap, is this right? Am I messing this up?
Oh, but you know what's not messed up? Our Patreon, Allison. People can come join us and support the work we do, but not just support us because you like us, but support us because you get something back in return. You get bonus episodes. You get a Discord with all these amazing people in it, like Scroggy Mama. We got Shirley in there, Beth Ann, Angie's joining us. Be like them. Become a patron.
Yes, you can learn more by going to patreon.com/thisisawkwardpodcast or clicking the link in the show notes. We get bonus episodes. You get to chat with us. You get invited to our live recordings. It's really great. It's really fun.
I enjoy it. And also, this is the time of year where we always take a break. So this episode here, we gotta give the bad news. This is the last episode of 2022 in the main feed. But our patrons are going to keep getting episodes throughout the rest of the year.
Yes, they will.
If you want to keep getting awkward with us, you can come over and join us.
Like, getting jiggy with it, but it's getting awkward with it.
Allison.
I feel like we could sing that song.
You want to do a solo?
No. I wouldn't do it.
Anyways, we're going to take a quick break. And when we do come back from that break, we're going to get into our awkward story. This is a break.
Let me have a glass. Let me have a sip.
Get a sip. Me too. A little liquid courage here.
I also have water. Oh no, my water is running low.
I know. You've had your 1 cup of water for the day?
Actually, you would be proud. This is my second one and it's almost gone.
You've had 2 cups of water in one day?
I know. I'm really proud of myself.
Oh.
Yeah, I am. It's the days that I work out. If I work out, I'll drink water because I'm like aware and I'm just more thirsty, I guess.
I like to believe, in my mind, when you're working out, you have like one of those like squeezy Gatorade bottles, but it's full of Diet Coke or Coke Zero, and you're just like, oh, I'm so thirsty as you're running on the treadmill, sipping on your Coke,
Like stickiness everywhere.
spraying it. Ah, I'm just so hot today.
Oh my gosh, we did actually, speaking of those Gatorade bottles, side note, we bought those specific green squirt Gatorade bottles to Disney World. When we went to Disney World, we
Do they
bought
just
two
bring
of
random
them.
liquids in there?
Yeah, you can bring anything in there. I mean, not like you can bring food. You can bring. I'm pretty sure you can bring. Yeah, because we brought snacks and stuff. And they'll let you bring waters. I guess. I think they test it. No, I don't know.
They
Maybe they do.
test it.
I don't remember. I don't remember. Like when they go on a plane, they have to test the breast milk. I mean,
I've never had my breast milk tested on an airplane, so I don't know.
Anyway, all that to say, we specifically got those Gatorade bottles for this trip because then when a kid was thirsty, we could be like, tilt your head back and we could just squirt the water in their mouth and we could just all share 2 bottles of water and just keep
Oh, so they get their
refilling it.
gross backwash in it.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Right there.
Oh, one of the grossest things I've ever seen in my life is a kid's cup of water that they've been drinking out of. I was like, there's a whole piece of bread. There's a crouton in the bottom of this cup. How did that much food come out of your mouth? Oh, it was so gross.
I think it's safe to say that maybe you should never have kids.
It was so
Or
gross.
if you do, we should really prepare you in advance for because if that's the grossest thing about children,
that's one of the grossest things I've
backwash.
seen. But because I'm not like, and then an adult will maybe drink out of that. No, I can't even explain to you how disgusting that is. Like, I know.
You know what? Next Halloween, just to scare you, I'm gonna go as a cup of backwash. Chris's biggest fear. My
It's a cup of
Halloween
backwash.
costume is a big cup of water with just
Ugh.
food floating in it and a straw that says
Oh.
"drink out of me."
Oh no, that's like Fear Factor. That's how you would get me if I. Here's this cup of backwash that 3 children have drunk out of. I'm like, nope, not gonna happen. Not today.
Okay. Let's.
Okay, back into the episode.
You're gonna have to bring us back because I can't right now.
All right. We're back from the break where our patrons got to hear what was going on there and hear one of my greatest fears. But Allison, I was going to ask you to read it, but you don't have to read it. It's a recording. We got an actual call this time.
I know. I love it. This one's from Scroggy Mama.
I'm so excited. So I updated this. Hopefully when I push this button, it works. Let's see.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Allison. This is Scroggy Mama. When I was in middle school, it was just me and my mom and did not have a lot of money. And it was the 90s, so FUBU was very popular. And all the kids used to make fun of me because I did not have the name brand clothes. And everybody on my bus, on my street, they all had just everything FUBU. My mom surprises me because she finds a store that's supposed to sell this brand of clothes, and she gets me a shirt, 2 shirts, as a matter of fact. One was red. I remember it still. I was so excited, and I wear my shirt to school, all for the class clown to start joning on me because I did not have a FUBU shirt. I had a PUBU shirt. I was so embarrassed. And to make it even better, later on, our house got broken into and someone stole my PUBU shirt. I'm so glad I can laugh at this now. Bye.
Oh, thank you, Scroggy Mama, for that story.
yes.
I've laughed every time I've listened to that.
FUBU. Oh my gosh. Okay, so first off, I have to say that number one, because she said it was middle school, right?
I believe so.
That is the worst time to be a child. Just people are mean in middle school.
Kids are mean in general. I don't. She said it was the 90s. I don't know if she said it was middle school. I have to go back and check the tape. But anyways, anytime when you're young is horrible.
It is. I don't know. I just feel like we can ask her right now. She can let us know. Was it middle school? What grade were you in? How old were you? Because I just remember kids being
she said
so
middle school.
mean.
I just checked the tape. It was
okay,
middle
yeah,
school.
that's what I thought. I remember kids being so mean, and I have a similar situation. And it's just like even my husband, who's a middle school teacher and has been since he was, graduated college, he's like, middle school children are the devil. And so he's
They're
like,
evil.
they are evil because they are like they're not confident enough in themselves
Mm-mm.
to like stand up and do what's right. They have just enough insecurity to be just hateful to everyone. So I do have to say that I'm so sorry that happened to you, but let's talk about it. Like, let's talk about as a parent, right? Because I don't know how many middle school kids we have listening. If so, props to you because you're not on TikTok right now. But but let's talk about what, like, how a parent could respond to something like this.
Yeah, and then a quick note here. Angie said that she couldn't hear the awkward story, so I don't know if anyone else could hear it. It looks like
Oh.
Logan might have seen it. But just a quick summary, just in case you didn't catch it, the audio went out for some reason. Scraggy Mom was in middle school. She wanted a FUBU shirt, and her mom bought her a PUBU shirt, and then she was made fun of in school. So just in case you didn't catch that.
I mean, that F and that P is just
I mean,
it's
it's just
so close. It's just that one connecting piece that turns it into a P.
one line away from being the right thing.
One line away. But I mean, this is actually a really good thing to talk about if you think about it, because if you have children, or if you have a niece or a nephew or anyone that's in a certain age range as a child that you care about, they're going to encounter things like this. And a lot of this can actually come from money, from people not having the right things, or not having, they're comparing themselves and then they get made fun of. Did that ever happen to you, Chris?
Oh yeah, I don't know if I feel like every kid has had this happen at some point, but I for
Yeah.
sure did, because like I didn't have super name brand stuff, but I had every now and then I'd have something nice. I was looking at Logan's comment here. He said that let me bring it up here. He said that I love FUBU back in the day, especially the Fat Albert line. Having that on your pants was like a badge of honor, and it was.
That was a badge of bougie.
I had like FUBU was huge when we were in high school. I think we were like the tail end of it for us. Where
Yeah,
it
you
was
and I,
like,
yeah. But I
like,
remember it.
by the time we were graduating, no one really was wearing FUBU anymore, but it was like the earlier years. And I remember I had these gigantic pants, these huge
Yep.
pants that had Fat Albert like cartoons all around
Yep.
the pants leg. And it was like a big deal. You felt special if you had those pants and you were walking around school.
Is it like if you had Jordans? Kind of like,
Not as prestigious. I don't think as
No.
prestigious as Jordan's, but it was up there.
But I mean, it meant something.
It meant you had someone gave you enough money to go buy these pants. But
Yeah.
it's hard though, because like you're as a kid trying to impress these other kids who none of you have jobs, none of you have money,
Yeah.
but you're sitting there comparing what each other are showing up wearing, and it can be hard. Especially, I remember there was times where I didn't have like the nicer clothes, or I remember kids who just had like just whatever clothes their parents could afford for them to have, and people just get viciously made fun of as
Yep.
if it was like they were just getting attacked. It was horrible. Some of the stuff I saw people say to other kids on campus.
Yeah, it's super fun. Scroggy Mama just said my daughter is in middle school and I hate it for her. My son's going to middle school next year and I'm terrified.
Oh.
Like, I'm just flat out terrified. When I was in middle school, there was a time whenever and I tell my mom about this. My mom is probably gonna feel terrible about this, but it was going into 6th grade, so going into middle school. And I don't know if we just didn't have a lot of money or if really it was like the paydays weren't lining up, but we didn't go back to school clothes shopping. But when you are, which is fine most of the time, but I had grown and all of my pants were like high waters. And that's what I wanted to wear was pants. So I don't know why. It was like 115 degrees outside. And that's probably what people were wearing. Oh, Doc Martens. Oh, I never had Doc Martens. I had knockoff Doc Martens. Sorry, I got distracted. So anyway, all of that to say that I had one pair of pants that fit me in 6th grade when I started middle school. And they were overalls. So like on Monday, I wore them as overalls. On Tuesday, I wore them as pants and I put like a shirt over the overalls. On Wednesday, I wore them that way again. On Thursday, I wore them as overalls. And like by the 4th day, some kid was like, "Don't you have any other pants?"
Oh no.
And I'm like, no, I don't.
I would have worn them if I had them.
Pants. Like, do you think I'm doing this on purpose? Like, do you think I want this? And I remember I had a Tweety Bird shirt and I wore that the first day of 6th grade and some people made fun of me because they were like, "Oh, that's so childish." And I'm like, but I don't have anything else, guys. This is what I have.
And that's the thing, like it's all about confidence too, because someone could
Mhm.
come in with that same shirt and then be like the most
Mhm.
popular person
Yep.
because they are just going to be, they're at the top of the social ranks and no one's going
Mhm.
to say anything to them.
Yeah, I was not at the top of the social ranks. I know that's probably a surprise to you,
I
but I
am
wasn't.
shocked.
But all of that to say, how do you think? Because I immediately think about this as a parent, right? Because I really don't think that any middle school kids are listening to us right now, or
I
even high
highly
school
doubt
kids.
that. I mean, well, wait, Miss Scraggy Mama's daughter's listening.
She is. Shout out to her. But I will say that how do you approach this as a parent? Because when I went to my mom, she immediately was like, let's go buy you clothes, right? Like I came to her crying. And I think though, and I actually talk about this in my book, Chris, is as a child, and when you're in middle school, you are a child still.
Oh yeah.
Your perception is your reality. So my perception was that we were poor and had no money and couldn't afford new clothes, which became my reality. So years and years and years later, when my mom's like, we weren't like poor, I'm like, what? Because that was my perception and it was my reality. And it was no longer my reality until I was an adult and my mom told me it wasn't my reality and explained it to me. So how do we help children that are anywhere between, late elementary all the way up through high school navigate that perception when kids are mean and when it has to do with money? Because no matter where you live, there's always going to be someone with more money than you.
Always, no matter what. Look, I know I have decades of parenting experience, but I want you to go first. As a newer parent than me, I want you to go first on this one.
Okay, so here's what I don't even know what I would do because I'm still trying to figure this out. Kind of winging this parent thing. But you know what my mom did is I remember being really upset. I was maybe in middle school or late elementary, and I was upset one Christmas because I knew the truth about Christmas. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, please don't ruin it for other children, Allison.
Yeah, I knew the truth. I'm not going to go into this, but I did. I knew the truth about Christmas. And I remember and I have seen my own children have this, my oldest one, have this conversation with me or question this is, why is someone else getting a bigger and better and more expensive gift than I am? Right? Like, why is that happening? And I remember asking my mom that. I remember being really upset one year, being like, wait a minute, I got this, but then they got all of that. How? Why? That's not fair. And my mom said, Allison, we are like, they might have gotten that and you got this, but we are saving to try our best to help put you through college. But not every family does that. And I mean, I still graduated student loans, but they helped what they could. They saved what they could.
It's better than it could have been.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't even honestly remember how much my parents gave me, but maybe it was $5,000. Maybe it was $10,000. I don't remember. I'd have to ask my mom. But I will say that made me think differently when I was that age and think like, okay, my parents are saving for other things. So when my son has said something like, well, why do they get, like, I have people, I'm just going to say it. I have people in my area where they budget $1,000 per kid for Christmas.
$1,000? What are they getting? Cars? Small little cars?
Well, you don't want to know how much cars cost these days.
I said that I was like,
$1,000.
Cars? That's the best thing I can think of that costs $1,000.
Yeah, that like 500, 1,000, like more. But it's like it all depends on where you live, and where I live is a pretty affluent neighborhood for this. Like we live in the lower section of an affluent neighborhood. And I'm sorry, like I just don't want to give my kids that much stuff. And so I have to tell my son, who's not getting the same level of gifts, especially when they get older and they're wanting technology. I have to tell him, look, I know that you want this. However, mom and dad, and we've told our son, listen, we are saving for retirement. So that way you don't have to take care of us when we're older. We are saving for college So that way we can try to help pay for some of your college. And we are saving for vacations. So that way we can take trips together. So we can't do all of those things and spend all these money on toys and gifts and things like that. Like, we're prioritizing. So we've talked about that with my oldest son.
I think you have to. And even Scroggy Mama saying here, I think the comparison envy starts so early, especially around Christmas and comparing what they got. It's natural. And even you think about it, even as adults, we do this. Like, this leaves out of childhood and into adulthood where people still say things about people, about what they wear, about the cars they drive, about maybe their house or what vacation they can and cannot take. Like, this doesn't just like start and end in school. People continue these habits all the way through. And I think it can be hard because you can't really reason with the people who make those comments.
Well, no, because they don't know, because that's not their reality, right? Like, how is that person going to have any empathy?
Yeah, no, it's all about who has what. Like, this is what you need to have to show you're successful. And if you're not showing that to everyone, then you must be broke or poor or, there's something wrong with you. It's a very much a judgment call that people make. And it's the same energy from middle school that a lot of people bring into adulthood. And us as adults still have to deal with that type of stuff.
Yeah. I don't really feel like I deal with it. But I think that when you become adults, you become more confident in who you are. I think that the more confident in who you are as a person, the less you'll struggle with that. So I don't feel like people like say things like that to me. Or I don't know who you're surrounding yourself with. I don't really. But no one's saying mean things like that to me except for you behind my back. But we'll address that another day.
Those same headphones again that aren't plugged into your computer. Well, I think the difference is, like, as an adult, you can choose who you want to be around. But when you're a kid, you're forced to still be around these people. Even if they treat you poorly, you have no choice but to come back to school the next day, which is really hard.
Some people, though, like in their jobs.
Well, yeah, you can get stuck around some jerks. I've worked with some people that I wish I didn't have to work with, but Allison,
you're not talking about me, are you? This is optional.
But no, it's hard. I think I've never had to have these conversations. That's to me is like a very difficult one because you're kind of explaining to a kid that people are going to judge you. And you can't really do anything to it. Like the answer is, you have to just try to ignore it and keep, focus on yourself. But that's really hard to do. That is really hard to do.
It is really hard to do. And I remember growing up, Abercrombie and Fitch was like really popular. And my mom gave us, starting in, I want to say it was like 7th grade, she gave us our back to school clothes budget. And it was $100. You got $100 to buy all your back to school clothes, shoes, clothes, everything, which, by the way, the pink tax was not widely known. So I should have gotten more than my brother.
You should have.
I'm just going to throw that out there. Maybe I'll ask my mom for some reimbursements.
Like last week's episode when we talked about the cell phone reimbursement, we need to have.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Like, Mom, actually, I was being underfunded for my clothing budget. I'm going to do some reconciliation and get back to you.
So anyway, I remember being in the mall. You remember that? Malls.
The malls.
I remember being in the mall. My mom was like, okay, you guys go. My mom walked around with me. I don't know. My brother went off somewhere. And I remember my brother saying, you're not going to buy an Abercrombie and Fitch shirt. And I was like, I can't afford it. I have $100 and I need to buy a whole wardrobe. Like, what do you mean? Like,
wait, how much were those shirts? I've never bought a single item of clothing from that store. I
remember. I was like in 7th or 8th grade. I bought one Abercrombie and Fitch shirt. It was made of like cheesecloth. It was so thin.
Made of cheesecloth.
And it cost me $43.
And what year was this?
I was probably like 13 or 12.
13?
Yes.
That is
crazy. It was 40. It was a long sleeve Abercrombie shirt. And I remember thinking, feeling the way, how older brothers can do this. Well, you don't know because you're the one who does this to your younger brother.
Put him in place.
They make you feel so like embarrassed. Like, I felt so embarrassed that I wasn't wearing Abercrombie. The thing is, though, is like, I don't know. And so I bought that, and my mom was like, "Okay, is that really what you want?" I was like, well, "I guess." Like, I don't want to be the kid that doesn't have it. So I had one Abercrombie shirt.
And you had $57 left to pay for the rest
Yeah,
of it.
basically. Yeah. So I probably got like, and we're going to like Marshalls. Like, let me look for the jeans that are ripped. Sent to Marshalls and Ross. But it's hard because, you know, that's when you're at the age where other people's opinions just matter.
It matters so much.
Mhm.
I have almost the exact same question or situation going on where I remember my senior year was like when, I don't know if I got to do it before that, but I remember specifically my senior year, I could drive and my mom gave me the money. I think it was probably like $100. So it's very
Yeah.
similar to go buy some new clothes for the school year. And I was like, okay,
Mhm.
so I went to the mall. And there was a, you know, the favorite place, I didn't get a Cinnabon or anything like that back then. I just was right to the clothing store, and there was a store called Up Against the Wall. And
Okay.
it was this like clothing store that like all the, you know, the cool people went to. So I was like, I'm gonna go in here and get my
Oh,
clothes.
so you
from there.
didn't belong there.
I didn't belong there whatsoever. I had no business walking into that store with $100, let alone. And so I go in there, and Allison, I walk out with one shirt and one pair of pants, and that was the entire $100
Oh my
was
gosh.
gone. And I was like, oh no, I have no other new clothes. This is it.
It's right. It's like, but it's such a learning experience too.
It is.
It's like, it really is. Okay, we have some chats in the Discord we need to deal with. We need to talk about this.
All right, what's in there?
So first off, Angie wants to know if I saw the Abercrombie documentary.
There's a
Yes,
documentary?
I did. It is fascinating. It's
What happens?
on. So they talk about. It's called the Rise and Fall. I think it's like, or maybe that's not the name of it. I don't know, but it's like the rise and fall of Abercrombie and Fitch. But it's like kind of depressing. It goes on about how like they essentially they had like a book of like here's the people that you have to hire, and they basically all had to be like thin, white, blonde, like it was. So
yeah.
it was like very racist, and it was all about like how it was you know, just very cheap stuff. Yes, White Hot, the
White
rise
Hot,
and fall
the
of
rise and
Abercrombie.
fall.
It is fascinating. But then it talks about how like, and it has like old Abercrombie and Fitch managers that like black managers that were like, here's why I left and here's what happened. And so it's really sad, but I think it's very like powerful that it's out. But then they tried to pivot, right? And so now they are still, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't go to a mall anymore, but I'm guessing they're still in malls.
Places. I do not go to malls
Yeah,
anymore.
no. But it's very fascinating because now they're trying to be this like very like inclusive, like free brand, but it's super interesting to see how much damage they did to themselves and how much damage the owner and the CEO did. And then now how they're trying to turn it around and how they like have brought in like good people to really try to change it and like course correct, if you will.
Yeah, I remember my brother actually worked at Abercrombie in high school, and he was one of the few black people that got to work on the floor. Like he was like all the other black people had to work in the back.
Yes, that's one of the things they said. It's like you had, if you were black, you had to work in the back.
You were on the front. And I remember he said he was in class or something, and he's told his teacher like, "Oh yeah, I work at Abercrombie," and he's like, "Oh, let me guess, you work in the back." And he was like, he said, I work on the floor. And he was like, no, you don't. I don't believe you. Because there were no black people in the store when you go there working. Never.
Yeah. I mean, there weren't. It's really, and everyone had to be beautiful.
Yeah. They weren't.
And if you weren't, you got put in the back or you didn't get the job. Like
it was a weird place, a very weird place.
Crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, it says that they had pretty people on staff that only worked when there was a store visit. So they would bring in, so whenever like someone would come visit the store from higher up, they would put only the pretty people on. But all of that to say is, I think that it's stores like this, right? It's examples like that of how society can even be encouraging this, I don't know, this desire for people to compare and to get onto each other about their clothing choices. Now, I'm very like hopeful, and I think that like, oh well, now we live in a day and age where like people are less like that. I hope, but I don't know because I'm not a kid.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what it's like right now. I mean, here's the thing. Now,
well, you never leave your home. You're like, I haven't been outside in 3 years.
I don't know what's going on. Honestly, Allison, there was one. I think it was last week. I realized after on day 3 that I had not left my apartment in 3 days. I hadn't even
And
gone
you were
outside,
like,
and I was like, what's happened? I was like, maybe I should just go step outside and look out the window or something.
like
I don't know.
fresh air or just sunlight?
I guess overrated if you ask me, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say though, now kids, you don't have to only worry about bullying when you're on campus. Like it's gone digital now. It's on the internet. Like people are just bullying you nonstop. So it's I don't know. I feel for kids who are in school right now.
I know.
It has to
I'm
be hard.
terrified. I'm like not gonna lie, I am terrified about them going through school. But you do your best, and then when you fail, you put them in therapy and
Oh,
and you pray.
I want to know though, before we wrap up, how have you ever dealt with like fake or knockoff clothes in school? Have you ever had that?
When I was a kid,
Yeah, like did you ever have like off-brand or
oh
like
yeah, I did.
did kids make fun of you? Did you ever get that, or did they just not pay
Um,
attention? They were just like, eh.
I'm trying to think if they did. I don't remember anything like blaringly obvious. I don't remember anything blaringly. I remember when I was like in middle school, I went shopping at Old Navy and I felt so cool. I felt so
You
cool.
like all the commercials?
And then I remember showing up. I remember I got this long khaki skirt and this white top from Old Navy. It was 7th grade. And I showed up to school and there was like a teacher wearing the same thing. And I was like, nope, we missed the mark on this one.
I've gone a little bit too far here.
We missed the mark. So, like, I remember that and being made fun of for that, but never like super knockoff. But also, I think it depends on where you live. So, I
Mm,
grew up in a school that, like, my parents, we were like straight middle class, but like, I grew up in a school where there was a lot of poverty.
mm,
This was like high school. My high school, there was a lot of poverty or lower middle class, like really low middle class or just truly poverty. And what was always crazy to me was realizing, like, okay, a lot of these kids that lived in poverty are the kids that had the name brand clothes. And when
mm,
I went to college, I read this book as in one of my teaching classes, and it was by Ruby Payne. And it was all about poverty. And it was talking about how people in poverty have that because that is a symbol of money. So they don't see like investments and savings and all of that as a symbol of money and status. It is their shoes and their clothes. And
mm.
that is the symbol of money and status. So I remember being in high school being so confused because I had a friend who literally had a little like really tiny house and did not have a door. She had a sheet as her front door.
The
Yes,
front door?
the front door was a sheet tacked on, but she had all name brand clothes. So it was so for me
Wow.
growing up, I was so confused. But it's because that was that status
Mm,
symbol that showed, okay, we are doing well. So whenever, her parents would get a paycheck or something, they would spend it on clothes because that's how they presented themselves to the world.
mm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
recently was talking to a friend and he was like, where he lives in this apartment building, he's like, literally, the car next to him is a Bentley. He said
Mm,
there's a Bentley. He said there's in this apartment complex, there's all these luxury cars. And he's like,
yeah.
what are you all doing? He's like, I know we all live in the same place. He's like, so I know what's going on here. And he was just like, it's just for the show. It's just to
Yep.
look presentable, look wealthy, look successful to the people around you.
Yes. Yeah. And so I don't know. So maybe that's why, like, you had asked in high school if I ever dealt with that. In high school, I was asking those types of questions like, what the heck is going on?
Mm.
Like, I'm so confused. And that's whenever I, because I was in all different friends groups. I mean, I was gothic at one point,
Hold on, wait.
and
Do I know this?
you didn't know
Let's
that.
not brush past this. Did I? I don't think I knew that you were a goth kid at some point.
You didn't know I was a goth kid.
Are there pictures of this, Allison?
I do have pictures. I have to ask my mom. I had spikes. I would wear
Oh my.
spikes around my neck. And I remember one time I got pulled in by the principal, and he was like, "You can't wear that necklace." And I'm like, "Show me in the student code of conduct." He's like, "You just can't wear that necklace." They had long spikes. I dressed up. I would wear all black eye makeup. I never wore black lipstick, but I wore all black I had the studs. I had the spikes.
I cannot believe this.
Are you
as
serious?
upbeat and bubbly as you are, that you were a goth kid, I would pay money if there was footage of this just to see.
I am so sad that you would just assume that all goth kids are not happy.
I'm not saying that goth kids are not happy people. I'm saying that you do not seem like you were a goth kid.
Well, I was a goth kid. I went from like a skater punk phase straight to like goth. So I had like a skateboard,
Wow.
I could do an ollie, I had all of that. I would like draw my shoes, and then I just went to kind of more goth where everything was black. I mean, I would wear blue jeans, but
Then you can't be goth and wear blue jeans. What are you doing?
I mean, I would wear like black shoes, black. I never was like super sad goth. I was never like, when I think of like a goth kid, sometimes I think of like the boy with like his hair like
Yeah, it's
straight
like
down, and he had the eyeliner coming down.
that's what I'm
It's like,
thinking of.
no, but did I have black eyeliner on? Like all black, and then black eyeshadow, and I wore all black, and I wore the spikes, and I wore the
I
studded
need to see
belt,
pictures of
and
this,
I wore the
Allison.
spikes around my wrist, and I like, yeah, I mean, I listened to like, you know,
Yeah, what do goth kids
it
listen
just
to? I didn't have any goth friends.
I mean, I
growing up.
listened to a lot of like Insane Clown Posse.
Aren't you what, a juggalo, right? Are those the Insane Clown Posse
Like,
people?
I would be like, ICP, that's Insane Clown Posse. I would listen to like Metallica. I listened to a lot of like Korn. I would listen to, I know.
Did you go to mosh pits? Were you never ever in a
I
mosh
have
pit?
been in mosh pits before. I have been crowd surfing before. Yeah,
Allison,
I did the damn thing.
I am shocked.
I don't know. I
am
cannot believe you didn't
shocked.
know this.
I am shocked. I cannot believe
How
this.
did you not know this? How long have we known each other? Do you even know who I am?
Angie said, "Why do I feel like her black eyeliner would have rainbow sprinkles?"
That's my personality. I was still very bubbly. So I was this goth kid, but I was very nice. I was very happy and nice. And this is like totally taking a turn, by the way. But
It has gone off the
I
rails.
would smile. You know this about me. I smile when I'm nervous.
Yes.
So you have this like goth kid walking down the halls of high school. I'm freaking nervous. So I'm just smiling. Like,
People were probably scared of you. That's why it was going on.
but no, that was me.
I am shocked.
I can't
am
believe you
shocked.
didn't know this.
I have no words
I really
for this.
wanted to go at, like, I remember being like ninth grade. I grew out of the phase. I mean, it was only for like two or 3 years.
2 or 3
But
years? That's a long time.
I remember going, wanting to like, I remember thinking I was not old enough to go to prom when I was in this phase of my life. So I was not I was not a junior or senior. Maybe I know it started in 8th grade, and ninth grade I was full-fledged
You were
goth
in
in
deep.
9th grade. Yes, I was committed. But I remember going into Hot Topic. Oh, I would even buy like makeup that was like would make me like translucent. Like try to make me like I was like a ghost. So that way the black
need
eye makeup would pop
photos.
more.
I need photos, Allison.
But I remember seeing this dress in Hot Topic, and it's what you would think of like as like probably a Halloween costume now.
Hot Topic was
just
like the goth store at first.
That was my favorite store. That's where I shopped. That's where I did my back to school shopping at that age.
Okay, hold on. I gotta pause really quick and read this comment from Angie. She said, "Was goth before or after the taquito party? Maybe after, hence the sadness."
It was after the taquito party.
That was the turning point. That was the turning point.
Thank you very much. Yes, so they just put this picture in. That's very much like
Oh, let me put this up on the screen.
I wanted a nose ring, but my mom said no. I wanted a tongue ring so bad. I wanted it to pierce my tongue so bad. My mom was like, "No, you're not doing that over my dead body. It's not happening." But that was, I remember like, it was, I don't need to get into all of this. I don't need to incriminate myself in some of these things.
Please
but
keep going.
No. all of that to say, I remember going to Hot Topic. I remember seeing this dress, and I remember thinking, I want to wear that to prom when I go to prom in high school. Because you realize I went to a high school that was so, I just say it was a bad high school, that we couldn't have any other dances because then there would be all these fights and games.
You get the one. You get the one dance.
You get one dance when you're a junior. You get one dance when you're a senior. There's no homecoming dance. There's no dance where the girls ask we could not be trusted where I grew up, or people couldn't afford them. But I remember seeing this dress, and it was like this medieval black, like it looked like a medieval times lace and all this stuff, like this bodice, and I was like, that's what I want to wear to prom. And I thought it was just the coolest thing. What are you doing? Are you pulling it up?
I'm going to see if I could find one. Okay. I found here. Okay. You just tell me, any of these dresses are any of these what you're talking about?
The one at the, yes. Let me see. It was probably like that. Maybe like go down to the left. No, whoa, too far. To the left. No, to the right. To the right. To the right. To the right. Maybe that one. Maybe.
Okay. So something like this is what you're
No, that's not it. No.
Too fancy.
No, that's too fancy. That's too normal.
But some black
It
dress.
was not normal. It was like what you would see them wearing in like Hocus Pocus.
Okay. I know exactly what you're talking about then.
Like, not normal. But no. And now I get to wear shirts that say good vibes.
Yeah, I mean, you've made a complete turnaround. Angie was like, I thought, she said, feel like she wanted to be on the left, but we all know she's the one on the right.
Oh my God.
I am blown away. This show, we've completely gone off the rails. I guess this is our Thanksgiving episode, so here, it's going to be longer for you. But this,
yeah,
I am shocked.
This is my gift to you, Chris.
For Christmas, all I want is a picture. I don't want to just text me a picture of you in your goth years. That's all I need. That's
I don't
the
know
best
if I
gift
have
I've ever
a lot
gotten.
because then I left my friends because they were all doing drugs, and they kind of like pushed me out, and I had to find new friends, and because I didn't want to do the drugs with them. And so I was kind of pushed aside. And so what I did was I like burned all my pictures. Because I was like, start of a new life. Yes, right? Like super dramatic.
As teenagers
so I don't know. But I know my mom has some. I just don't. I mean, the quality's not great. Yeah. And so I know she has like one that she is like a picture of a picture that I can try to get her to send me.
Oh, man. This was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this.
You're welcome.
It's the greatest gift. You know what? As this very loud motorcycle drives by. Any closing words, Allison, before I think we probably should move on. But
yeah, since we've been recording for a really long time, all I just want to say is that when you're dealing with comparison, especially when your children are going through it, and it has to do with, comparison that really is initiated with money, I think just trying your best as a parent, what I would say is try your best to, number one, approach it with empathy. Right? Kids, like their perception is their reality. Help them reframe their perception to closer align with reality. Offer empathy, and then tell them what your priorities are and why maybe you're not spending money on these name brand clothes or these toys or these things. And then also remember that like it's okay for them to feel jealous. It's okay for them to be sad, but then just being willing to be a listening ear along the way.
I love it. Allison,
spoken like a true goth.
Spoken like a goth. Getting to the heart of the matter. Get to the real truth here. Scroggy Mama, thank you so much for sending in that story. Not only because it was just a great story, but also it led to us learning about Allison's goth phase.
I can't believe you didn't know that.
I can never repay you for that. If you all want to be amazing like Scroggy Mama and help us unlock more Allison stories, send in your stories. No, please do.
We want you to send the stories in so that way we can talk about you and your situation.
I mean, yes, but if as a byproduct we get more stories like this, I'm all for it. Please do. Send me in.
Okay, well, you can do that by calling 707-200-8259. Or if you want to make it super easy, just go to awkwardpodcast.com where you can leave us a voicemail or you can leave us a message if you don't want to talk on the phone.
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll hop into what I'm loving. And I think I need to change mine to Allison being goth because I don't know what's going to top that. Oh, thank
Okay.
you so much.
Can I just say, Scroggy Mama, because this is our, right? This is our break.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Scroggy Mama, weren't you like really scared you weren't going to stay awake for this? Aren't you so happy you did? I'm like scrolling back through the messages to try to find where you were like, I'm going to set an alarm. But yes, I'm trying to stay awake. Aren't you so
She's
glad?
all in now.
You say, like, yes.
This is Allison. It's not just a phase, Mom.
Okay, so I never had like weird gloves, but I did have like these big bands, like these big black studded bracelets. What is this? Look at this comment we got.
Oh, look at the spam coming. Get out of here. Private dating.
Gosh.
Chat girls. I don't think so.
No, block this person. This is
All right.
creepy.
I banned them.
Okay, so
There you
I
go.
would have these big bracelets, and then I'd have like this big stud. But like some of my jewelry, I could not wear to school because it was considered dangerous. So
Did you have big bangs that just kind of swooped over one of your eyes?
no, because my hair was like curly. No, I couldn't pull that off, and I wanted to dye my hair like black, like because
Like
my
oil?
hair's it's already dark, but I wanted it to be like black, like night black. My mom was like, no. So, and then I wanted to get red streaks, like hot pink streaks in my hair. And she was like, no. So I remember one summer she let me bleach the tips of my hair. And then I would go to Hot Topic and I would buy like pink dye and I would just dye all different colors. And then I had to cut it off before school. So she really tried to rein me in. Which I did not like, by the way.
I felt like your mom handled it in a good way, though. Like
I didn't even tell you this.
Oh, wait, there's more?
I don't want to tell you. I had a GeoCities blog where I would write dark poetry.
Does it still exist, Allison? Is there any way we can find this?
God, I hope not.
Okay, please. Can you give me? I know you probably don't remember the poetry, but could you give me an example of what dark poetry is?
All I know is that I would rhyme a lot of things with strife in life. So I'm talking like dark for a 13 or 14-year-old, not dark like super scary dark.
But like emotional, like
dark, like I'm emotional and should probably be on antidepressants. Dark.
I just wish time travel was the thing. I would just love for us to get
that
to
where
meet.
you would go back. You wouldn't have been my friend, Chris. You would have been scared of me.
I don't know if I would have been scared of you. So like in high school, there's like all the different groups, right? You have like obviously like the jocks and the cheerleaders and blah blah blah, and then you have like the goth kids, which we didn't have a ton of goth kids. They were a very small group at my school. Okay. But then we also had the greasers. Did you have that? Like the kids who were dressed, the kids who were dressing like it's like 1950s, like they're in the movie Grease.
What?
You didn't have those kids?
No, weirdo.
They'd have like a white t-shirt, a leather jacket, their hair would be like all slicked and poofed, like the little, and they would have like the girls would have like the like kind of like almost not quite a poodle skirt, but kind of like a poodle skirt. Like they were straight up cosplaying
weird.
the 50s. Like you did not have those kids? You didn't have the greasers?
I don't think that's normal.
We had the greasers. Can I find them?
No, we never had that. We had like Scroggy Mama's typing. She's ready to tell us about it. We had, the jocks. We had the goth kids. We had the, like every normal type of like kid. But that is not normal.
You didn't have the greasers? No. I don't even know that's what they were called.
No, this is not normal.
It's too hard to find.
Because it doesn't exist.
It's a thing. Look at Logan.
Thing.
Logan said,
I don't care.
He said, I forgot all about them.
Well, that's because he grew up in the same High School Musical you did.
That was a thing.
That was not a thing. Not a thing. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Okay, look, I gotta show you this. This is on Wikipedia. Allison came into Chris's life with the only goal to give him strife. Hold on. We gotta put Allison, please read this poem. This is
okay. Here's the type of poem I would write. Okay. Enough about the greasers that didn't exist. Allison came into Chris's life with the only goal to give him strife. Chris to her is never nice. now we get to enjoy Thursday nights. Oh, but I was bad too. I would skip school. I'm not even going to talk about this because I don't
You
want my mom
skip
watching.
school? For some reason, I feel like you
Okay.
skip school to go to like the senior center to go volunteer or something. That's what it feels like.
No. Oh my gosh. Okay, we gotta finish this up.
We do. Hold on.
We've
I
been
have
going
to
for
show
so
you
long,
this. I have to
Chris.
show you this. I got to
This has
find
gotten
proof of
way-
this.
We need to go quick on the next two segments. Okay.
Yeah, we do. But look,
Let's make it
Allison,
fast.
there's these greaser kids. They existed, and I can't.
I can't find them because
Hold
they're
on.
only a figment of my
Let's see,
imagination.
kids wearing
Can we do this afterwards?
no 1950s style clothes.
It's gonna come up with like Spirit Halloween store.
in early 2000s. Let's see.
Oh my god.
This was a thing.
Beth Ann says I saw that in a movie. Maybe it's a California thing.
Maybe
Sounds
it's
like
a California
thing to me.
It must be. This is
See,
impossible.
like we didn't
to
have
Google.
like surfer. Well, I guess we had like I remember going to like that. I don't know. There was like a surfer store in the mall. That's when I dabbled a little bit in the punk, and then I just went straight to Hot Topics. I didn't go there long. Like people would wear Vans and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's a skateboard store. I don't remember. Okay, let's bring this back.
Oh, fine. I can't find it. This was
We
a
gotta
thing.
go.
You got to believe me, Allison. You have to believe me. It was a thing.
I mean, I'll think about it. I'll consider it. Whatever. Your perception is your reality. It probably wasn't true, but you perceived it that way. So it's true in your heart. So I believe you.
Fine,
Logan says
whatever.
it was big with Mexican kids. Thanks, Logan. I'm half Mexican. And as someone who is half Mexican, I can tell you, not a big thing. But you
Maybe-
know what Mexican kids do like is they do like their cologne.
I don't know why that sounds racist.
They like to smell really good. They like to smell and really good.
That's all high school boys.
Is that?
Putting cologne on top of BO. That's just how you lived your life.
Oh, I thought you were going to say putting cologne on top of Axe.
Axe came in and killed the cologne market. All kids were in that locker room, the boys' locker room, spraying Axe. Okay,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Okay, we gotta
We
get
gotta
going
get back
here.
into this. Okay. Anyways, Allison, we're back from that very extended break where we talked about a lot of different things. Again, like if you're not a patron, you're missing out on all the crazy nonsense that gets talked about during the breaks. But today, it is finally time for What I'm Loving. Allison, please tell us, what is this all about?
This is when Chris and I get to share something that we love, something that brings us joy, whether it's spiked necklaces, black eyeshadow, Hot Topic, whatever it is, we want to share it with you so that way you can find a little bit of joy in your life too. And we're actually going to make this quick because we've been going really long.
We've been going for a long time in this recording. Oh man. So Allison, do you wanna take it away? Because you go
Yes.
first, because I'll give you time to prep to get mine up. Yeah.
Yes. So I am actually loving my Halloween tradition. Spoken like a true goth, right?
I mean, Halloween has a whole new meaning for you. Like,
No, actually, okay, no, our Halloween tradition. So when we moved here back in 2019, we moved from 5.5 to 6 hours away from my mom to a 25-minute drive. My mom was so happy. I mean,
I bet
just
she
so
was.
beyond thrilled because we have her only 2 grandchildren. We were holding them hostage up in North Texas, and we finally brought them back to her. So when we moved here, she said, Allison, I want to make this, like, I want to make Halloween a yearly tradition. Here's what I want to do. I said, what do you want to do? She said, I want to come to your house and I want to bring homemade chicken and sausage gumbo. And I want us to
Okay,
have
I'm
chicken
listening.
and sausage gumbo, and I'll make it. And then I want to pass out full-size candy bars at your house. And I was like, sounds good to me.
You're like,
This
I'm not
is
gonna argue with
great.
this.
You're gonna. And she said, I'll buy the candy. And I was like, fabulous.
You're like,
Let's
I'm
do
in.
it. Yes. So in 2019, 2020, I don't remember if we did in 2020. Maybe if we did, it was like a very abridged version. 2021, 2022. So for 4 years, my mom has brought homemade gumbo, rice. We have a nice meal. My kids love it. They look forward to it. And we pass out full-size candy bars to the point where we are known in the house, in the neighborhood, as the house. with the full-size candy bars. And we're known as a really spooky house because my dad, and you've seen this,
Yes, I have. I know
my
what you're talking
dad
about.
made this life-size mummy in the 70s in high school for an art project, and he gives it to us. We are not allowed to keep it full year, like year round, because he doesn't trust us to not mess it up. So he delivers it to our house and then picks it back up. I used to tell my friends it was my grandpa Flores. Because growing up, we kept it in our living room in a corner, and I would be like,
The
"Do you wanna
entire
meet my
time?
all my childhood.
All year long. There's this mummy in the corner of your living room.
Yes.
I mean, maybe this is why you're goth. I mean,
And so there would be like, so we had two rooms. We had a family room and a living room. And so the living room is not where really a lot of people went. And we had this like, think of it as like a small closet without a door. It was just like a cut in. And the mummy lived there.
how
And
ironic
I
that the
would
mummy
tell,
lived in the living room.
yeah. And so so you couldn't see it like when you're walking by. You had to kind of walk into the room to see it. And that's where he would live. And so I would be like, oh, do you want to meet, when new friends would come over, I'd be like, do you want to meet my grandpa Flores? Which I realize now, like, probably wasn't the nicest thing for me to say for my deceased grandfather. And they would be like, sure. And I'd bring them into the mummy and I'd be like, hi, this is grandpa. And they would be like, what? Like, and then I would
this
be like,
girl is crazy.
just kidding. It's not my grandpa. But anyway, so we have this mummy. We have like a strobe light with spooky music. We do what are those things called? Tiki torches with real fire that like so you have to walk through the tiki torches. So we make it a really big deal. So we have my mom says that people tell her when she opens our door, because I'm not here to pass out candy, she does it, that we have the
Oh, you with your
scariest.
kids?
I'm with my kids. So she stays and passes out candy so that way we can go off and experience that. And my mom said that people tell her like, oh, you guys have the scariest house. Like even the parents are like, this is so great. And I'm just looking forward to when my kids no longer trick or treat. Like I just really want to like scare kids. Like I want Matt standing out there in like a creepy costume and he like jumps out. Like I just want to make it like this super scary house that passes out full-size candy bars. But we always start off with a delicious gumbo meal.
That is, yeah, I gotta say, I don't really care that much about Halloween, but that sounds like a fun time. Like, if I'm getting a good meal, if any event starts off with me getting a good meal, I'm on board.
Yeah, and talk about homemade. Have you ever had homemade chicken and sausage gumbo?
I've had homemade gumbo, but not chicken and sausage gumbo. I don't know what was in it. I can't remember, but I'm all on board. Like the South, you guys got food under control down there. Like you know what you're doing.
Yeah. So that's what I'm loving because we just experienced this. We're recording this after Halloween and I just look forward to it. And even my mom was like, isn't this so fun? I'm like, yes, it is. You need to buy 4 boxes of candy next year, Mom, not 3. Like,
you know, the sad thing is, so the neighborhood my parents live in, like where I grew up in, they still live in the same house. And I remember as a kid, like the neighborhood was packed with kids. Like you didn't even want to drive your car because there was just kids everywhere. And now all those kids have grown up and moved away. And then like, not a lot of new families, I guess, have moved in. My parents said 1 kid came to their door on Halloween. Like it's just like a ghost town now.
That's exactly how it was in my parents' neighborhood. They've been in the same house since 6 months after I was born. And they buy candy and no one shows up.
It's
but
sad.
It's just, it turns out, you know. And you know what? I think that's the neighborhood I lived in. I think it was like that. But then the people in here started having to go to like nursing homes and stuff.
Oh no.
And so all these younger families have infiltrated. So it's almost like revived.
You're resetting it. You kicked out all the old elderly
revitalized.
people.
Yeah, because like the people we bought our house from were the original owners. And they like went off to live in the country, retired and lived in the country kind of thing. So, okay, what are you loving, Chris?
I want you to look. I just added it in there. I want you to guess what this is.
Okay, it says caricature party. And what I want to say is that you got invited to a how do you say that word?
Caricature? It's a weird word, caricature.
Yeah. And you were invited, and it's whenever you go and you get your drawing done, and it's a party where they were celebrating someone's birthday, but they brought in this guy to do this as like, you know, something fun to do and different. My only thing is I feel like this party was virtual because I don't see you going to a party knowing you. Or if you went, they had really good food they were serving, maybe some of those mochi donuts for dessert.
if there's a mochi donut, I'm actually gonna go to a dinner party tomorrow. Believe it or not.
What? Who
Believe
are
it or not.
you? Oh
I'm
my
stepping out into the
gosh.
real world. My eyes
Oh
are
my
gonna
goodness.
be bleeding because of the sun. Like, oh, the light. No, you're not right, Allison. I did not go to a party, virtual or in person, that with a
Oh, of course
caricature
not.
artist.
Of course you didn't.
So
Or was I actually right?
So
Because I said you wouldn't have gone out and done anything.
I mean, you're right on that part. You're wrong on what it is I'm loving. So Caricature Party is a TikTok account that I love. It is hilarious. It is a caricature artist in Hawaii. I don't know if I think there's multiple people. I think it's more than just one person. But they have this TikTok account. Let me bring it up here. That's what I was doing on the side here. And this is their account. So every time I watch these videos in full, they are showing them the people who they're drawing on the streets. I think they're on like the streets of Honolulu, and what their caricature ends up looking like.
Are they always bad?
It is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I laugh every time.
Because they don't know.
I love the reveal, their reaction to seeing what they look like.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I love this account. Like, here's another one. Where
oh my gosh.
It's just,
I can imagine. Think about, okay, so if you're listening to this, you're listening to a podcast. You're not seeing what we're seeing.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're not seeing the videos I'm showing right now.
So what's happening is you have this guy, drawing people on the side of the street. They're sitting for him. They think they're getting this like really fun caricature drawing of them, but what's happening is it's like a drawing, but it's hideous. Massive note, like super just over the top and like very over the top, hilarious.
And at this point, they're so famous that I think people are coming to them on purpose to see, because they're like, we see your videos, they're coming to them to get their drawings made.
So maybe that's part of it. But I would say that if a middle school kid sat down for this, they could end up crying.
You're gonna be in therapy if you're a kid and coming here. Like, it's I don't know what it is, but it's just so hilarious.
Cruel.
Because everyone's in such a good mood about it. Like everyone loves it. Like, some people, you see a little pain in their eyes when they see it because they're picking on their worst features.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. I could watch these videos literally all day long because
and which he does.
I do, like,
which he does. Oh my gosh.
He even drew the chest hair.
Oh, okay, Chris, take this off.
I can't stop looking at it. I'm not just running the background.
I want to bring up really quickly before we move on to the listener shout out, which maybe we should just skip. Can we skip that this time?
Yeah, let's skip the listener shout out. We're going to skip
the listener shout out. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to shout out Beth Ann, who just said in our Discord, she said, last year you showed us the mummy on Patreon. So if you were in the Patreon last year, I actually took you on a tour.
That's right. That's when was your power out or something, or
my internet was out.
Your internet was down.
I was using my phone, but the internet was out in our neighborhood, only our little pocket of neighborhood. And I sat outside in the cul-de-sac at dark by the light of the street light, and I recorded a podcast because that's how serious we are. That's how much we show up for our Patreon members. And then someone said, we want to see your office. So I was like, great, let me show you my office, because we were using video. So I walk in, and then sure enough, there's Grandpa Flores hanging out, the mummy. And so I got to show them the mummy. I showed them my office. So all of that to say, if you're not on Patreon, you're missing out. So go to thisisawkwardpodcast.com. Awkward podcast.
There you go. You want to go ahead and read that? There you go. Put it on the screen for
you. Go to patreon.com/thisisawkwardpodcast to join us, because I promise you won't regret it.
Yeah, because we are going on a break, as we mentioned. So this will be the last episode of 2022. We'll be back in January with the main episodes. But, this does give you time to get your awkward stories in. If you got something that you've been holding on to, you're like, I don't know, send it in. It'll more than likely end up on the podcast. But we do this break every year. We do it like in the summer. We take a month off in the summer, and then a month off during the holidays, mainly during December, that gap between Thanksgiving and New Year's. So we will be gone from the main feed. But if you are a patron, you'll be getting episodes all throughout. And then also to our patrons who are watching, let us know what you want us to talk about. If there's anything interesting you want to hear, any holiday awkwardness or any topics you want us to cover. I think we'll also continue to do our segment called Am I the Awkward One? that where we go through and we rate some very awkward situations that we come across on the internet. So that's always fun.
And I just sent a text message to my mom and I said, do you have a picture of me from my goth days? So when she comes through, I'll put that. Oh, she just said no. Never mind. But I'm sorry. Still join us on Patreon.
That would have been a great tease there.
I know. That's what I hope.
Oh, well. But anyways, thanks for joining us for this very long episode. This one extremely long, but I had to hear more about the goth years, and I feel like it was time well spent. So,
She just said I'm in bed. Why?
She's like, please stop texting me. I'm asleep.
Don't worry about it.
Well, we're going to get out of here. Thanks for joining us. For our patrons, we're going to be sticking around and doing another episode for the week that comes out after this. But for the rest of you, we'll catch you next time. And thanks for joining us.
Bye. See you next year.
See you next year.
2023.
That's animation for the end of the episode.
Wow.
Ooh, you like that?
Okay, let's get into this Patreon.
All right, let's get into it. Let's just get it started. I'm gonna hit this button again because why not?
Okay.
Patreon. You've been Patreon. Patreon, the patronage. So.
Oh my gosh.
Allison, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so first off, if you're listening live, is there anything you want us to talk about? Any questions you have? Any topics? But I wanted to, because this episode's actually coming out, did you say the week after Thanksgiving? Or the week
of Thanksgiving? The
week of Thanksgiving. I want to share an awkward Thanksgiving story with you really quick. You're going to love this. So when I was in college, I was a fresh sophomore in college, and I had been dating my boyfriend for almost a year and a half. So we met the first weekend I moved into college my freshman year. And then right before Thanksgiving, I was supposed to go have Thanksgiving with him and his family, and I ended up breaking up with him. And my family was devastated. I mean, my mom started saving for my wedding when I was dating this guy. And that was like
before Thanksgiving.
Listen, we don't all have the best timing. Okay. I never claimed to have good timing, but I will say that I broke up with him, and my mom cried. My dad was mad because they loved him, because they thought like, this is the man she's going to marry. This is the person she's going to be with. Right. It was very common back then for what did Scroggy Mama say?
I'll let you read it.
Scroggy Mama said, of course she did. And then she didn't have to buy him a Christmas present.
Cold-blooded.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I was supposed to go to Thanksgiving with him. My parents were furious, or not furious. They were just really disappointed and sad. My mom said, what am I supposed to tell my friends? And I was like, what am I supposed to tell my friends? Like, what? Oh. And my dad said, I don't want to meet another one of your boyfriends until you're engaged, because he
you broke their heart.
They grew to love this guy, right? And I broke their heart by breaking his heart. So then I'm at college.
Okay, wait, so before sorry, I got to just stop you. Does your mom still talk to him? I want to believe she secretly still talks to him and sends him Christmas cards.
That would be so inappropriate. So inappropriate.
Because I saw this song online. I don't know where it was, probably TikTok. I put it in the Discord, and it's this girl basically saying that she's still friends with all of her ex's moms because they love her so much.
Oh, that's funny. I am still friends with his mom on Facebook and his sister.
How could you? I would have blocked you right away.
Homewrecker. And that's the thing is I loved his family so much. My family loved him so much. But just because your families love each other doesn't mean you should be together.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Yes, thank you. So my mom's super upset. My dad's mad. I'm upset because I feel like I've let everyone down, and I've hurt him, and I've hurt his family, right? All these things. And so I get to this point where I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to go for Thanksgiving. I can't go to his house where I was supposed to go.
Highly inappropriate if you did.
But I said, I don't even want to go home because my family's being all mean. They weren't being mean. I shouldn't say that. But they were sad and disappointed. So I went with my roommate and her family to Thanksgiving. And I just went to her house. I went to not even her house. It was like her grandparents' house because my roommate at the time was a girl I grew up with in high school, or I went to high school with. So if I would have gone to her family, I would have just been in my hometown. But we went somewhere else where her grandparents live. And I just went and spent Thanksgiving with this random family. And I just spent the whole time crying because
You just and then bringing their Thanksgiving down. So you ruined 3 Thanksgivings that year.
And I remember just like crying constantly, like going on a walk with her after eating and just like crying because I felt like I'd ruined everyone.
She's like, why did I bring this girl with me? Oh.
So anyway, everyone there knew I just broken up with my boyfriend. I was super sad. It was really pathetic. And I made everyone's Thanksgiving awkward. It was so awkward because I was around all these people I didn't know. And yeah, so
that's pretty bad.
That's a Thanksgiving story for you.
That's a great Thanksgiving story. Wow. How Allison ruined 3 Thanksgivings. I would have been so mad. I'm picturing I'm like the cousin of this friend, and I'm like, oh, hey, so excited to see all of you all. Haven't seen you all in a year, and I'm there, and some sad girl crying at the table into her mashed potatoes. I'm like, oh, yeah. Somebody get her out of here. Could put her at the kids' table.
Not even related. They don't even know.
Like, why is she here?
Exactly. Because I didn't want to be alone.
You have a family.
I didn't want to go back to them. I was mad at them. I was mad at them for how they reacted. Oh. And so I was like, fine, I'm not coming home with you. So I went with her and it didn't go well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a Thanksgiving story to share.
Oh, yes.
I don't think I've shared this story before. So hold on. Oh, they said that Scargy Mama says your story sounds like a rom-com.
It didn't work out for anyone involved.
No. It didn't. It did not have an happy
That's the same ex that you guys remember that story I told it in one of the episodes where I went into the baby class.
Yes, this is that guy.
That's that guy. And I sat next to this woman sat next to me, and Matt like was off spilling ice. And this girl sits next to me and she starts talking to me. And then that ex comes and sits down next to her, and it's his new wife and they're pregnant too. And then Matt comes back and he introduces himself. And then I'm like, oh, this is Chris. We knew each other in college. And he's like, oh, and he introduces himself. And then we're sitting like close in like school chairs. And Matt leans over and he goes, is this the man that I'll never live up to in your father's eyes? Really loud. And I was like, yes. I think that's him. So anyway.
Oh man, him. Allison, you got stories for days. I got to say, you really carry the weight of awkward stories here on this podcast.
I'm gonna say that it means that I've lived a full life.
You've lived a full life.
Yes. Okay. What's your awkward Thanksgiving story?
So this comes from I think last year, and a tradition in my family for Thanksgiving is my dad always makes sweet potato pies. He's done this for years, like since I was a kid. I don't remember a time when he wasn't doing this. It was always a big deal. Like I'm always looking forward to it because he doesn't make these. He could make them anytime, but he chooses to only make them during the holidays. And he'll I remember being a kid and he would be like asleep on the couch, like laying there, like waiting for like the potatoes to finish boiling or for the oven to preheat so he can put them in. Like it'd be like an all night thing, him working on this stuff. It's like a big thing. And he'll make
like when my dad makes brisket.
Yeah, like that. It's an ordeal. Okay. He's making like 8 of these things for the 4 of us. And so they're always really good. Like every year, they're always delicious. Like we always should still want to take one home. And I remember it was Thanksgiving. We had eaten already and we were excited. It's like, oh, it's time for these sweet potato pies. So I pull one out the refrigerator and then I cut into it. And as I'm put on a little plate, and as I'm walking back to the couch, I take a bite and I'm like, huh, this seems a little off. Like I was like, I don't know what it is. I was like, maybe it's, when you eat something really seasoned, it's like, and the next thing you eat, it still kind of tastes like that. So I was like, oh, maybe it was just, some of the, I don't know, the seasoning from the stuffing or whatever I'm still tasting. So I take another bite and I'm like, this doesn't taste right. There's something off. Oh, no. This pie is oddly savory. I was like, sweet potato pies aren't savory like this. And I tell my brother, and I was like, hey, have you tried the pies yet? He was like, no. And I was like, taste this. I think it tastes weird. And he's like, yeah, something's not right with this. And my dad's like, no, I ate half a pie this morning. There's nothing wrong with these pies. They taste the same.
Pie? Hold on. Does he have diabetes?
He does not have diabetes.
Ate half a pie this morning.
He ate half a pie that morning for breakfast. Apparently, he ate half a sweet potato pie, and he was like, "It
Okay.
tasted fine to me." And I was like, "No, there's just something off about this." So my sister-in-law was there, and I was like, "Here, you're impartial. You have no stake in the game. Taste this and tell me what you think." And she was like, "Yeah, it tastes really like it's just like there's something off." And we were like, "Yeah." I was like, "I can't put my finger on what it tastes like." And she's like, "You know what? It tastes kind of like cumin." And I was like, "What does cumin taste like?" And we go to we're like, "Did you put cumin in this?" He was like, "No." We go to the cabinet and open it up. And on top of the cinnamon is a little jar of cumin. And he had grabbed the cumin instead of the cinnamon and
No,
poured it in
sir.
all the sweet potato
And
pies.
he didn't even notice?
He ate half of a pie. And I was like, "It's because
My
I said you
gosh.
smoke cigarettes. We cannot trust your taste. You can't taste anything. Everything tastes
Still
like
smoke?
cigarette." Yeah, he still smokes cigarettes.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, "That's why you can't taste this." I was like, "This tastes horrible. This is not good."
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have a baking fail once. It was my first time ever baking cookies. And
Oh.
my mom got me, because my mom's an amazing cook, like phenomenal. She's written a cookbook.
Oh,
She's
that's
an
right. I forgot about that.
Yes, an amazing cook. So when I was a child, she gave me a cookbook that had like the pictures in it, the children's cookbook. And I remember wanting to make cookies. And I was old enough to like make cookies on my own. I was maybe, I don't know, 5th grade, 4th grade. And my mom said, I remember it was like Saturday night. She's tired, or Friday night. She's been working all week. She's tired. She said, "Allison, I'm not going to help you make cookies. You have your cookbook. We've made them together. Like, go make cookies."
I can trust you to make cookies.
I'm going to do this on my own. And I went by and I looked at all the pictures and I made the cookies and I took a bite and I didn't read the directions. I mixed the salt and the sugar.
Oh, so you put like way. I'm sure the amount of salt was like a pinch or something. You put like a cup.
And then it was like a cup of white sugar, but I did like a cup of salt.
You didn't pause to yourself and think, "This seems like a lot of salt to put into these cookies."
No, I was like, because they look the same. Okay.
Oh no. I mean, I guess if they're already poured out, then yeah, salt and sugar look like exactly the same.
Whatever. I
But
made
at least
salty cookies.
you didn't subject other people to eating it though, and pretend like it didn't taste like salt.
Yeah. It wasn't like my taste buds were thrown off from years of smoking cigarettes.
No.
So.
And let me tell you this:
good.
he ate the rest of those pies.
Gross. Papa Brownie, what are you doing?
We refused to eat them because they were gross. And he was like, "I'm eating these pies. I spent all this money on these ingredients. I'm eating these pies."
My gosh. So I think it's really interesting that people have, actually, let's talk about this. Let's go with this because I want to hear about from people in the Patreon. I feel like families have dishes, like signature dishes for certain holidays. And I want to hear what people's signature dishes are. So growing up, are you ready for mine? We always went to Louisiana for like anything childhood, like any holidays, because we lived in Texas, but my whole family lived in Louisiana. All my cousins, both of my grandparents, they lived in Louisiana. So we never had one Christmas at home. We never had Thanksgiving at home. We never had Easter at home. We always traveled. And I remember we would go to one of my grandparents' house for Thanksgiving. My grandma Winston, my mom's parents, they did not like turkey. She does not like turkey. So she would always make chicken breast. So we would have chicken and, other sides.
I mean, chicken and turkey kind of taste exactly the same.
I agree. I actually like chicken better. So then we would go to my grandma Flores' house, right? Because we would like alternate days. And she would have a turkey, like a regular roasted American turkey. And then she would have tamales and chili rellenos, and she would have like homemade tortilla chips, and she would have homemade enchiladas. And so no one would eat the turkey. It would be just all of this Mexican food, right? All of this delicious, amazing, like really good Mexican food.
Turkey is overrated. That's why.
It is. And the first time Matt ever came to visit our family for Thanksgiving when we were dating, and we went to my grandma Flores' house, he was like, "This is amazing." Like, because it's just all Mexican food. It was, not really of like the staples. So now it feels really weird to have like staple Thanksgiving meals. So, but we do it, I guess.
So is it the Mexican? Well, I guess that's not like really something you've continued on your own.
Well, no one like my grandma Flores never taught anyone how to do it.
Yeah, that
She
happens.
would, yeah, and that's the thing is like she would never, and I mean, it is a process. She would make everything from
Mm.
scratch. She used to come because I lived in Houston, or I grew up in Houston area, and we had Astroworld, which was Six Flags, a Six
Oh, I
Flags
was
theme
gonna say I
park
have
in
no idea
Houston.
what Astro World
So
is.
Astroworld is a Six Flags theme park that was, you know, shut down due to probably lack of attendance and crappy rides that were falling apart. Regardless, growing up, it was like the theme park to go to. So my grandma would come over, my grandma Flores, and my aunt Nina and her two sons, and my mom and my aunt would take the four of us children to Astroworld, and my grandma would stay back and cook all day long. She would send my mom a list, and she'd go to Fiesta,
Oh,
and she would buy all of these things, and my grandma would spend the entire day cooking, and we would go out and ride roller coasters and come back, and it was just smelled amazing, and it was like the entire kitchen was just filled with all of
oh
these
man,
delicious Mexican foods. It was the best, the best.
that is amazing.
I know, and that only happens like 4 times, but it was amazing. It
That's
was
enough.
incredible. It is.
We got some great stuff going on here in the Discord.
Okay, I want to hear
So,
about it.
okay, so Scar Mom said she said I make pecan. Okay, do you say here's before I even get to this? How do you say this word here, which is I make blank pies?
Pecan.
You say okay. I don't know. I think I say pecan. I don't know what I say anymore. Pecan pie, pecan.
You sound like you're
Pecan
not really
pie.
sure who you are.
I've lost my identity. Anyways, I shouldn't have
Yes.
stopped to say that. And but she said, I patiently wait for my aunt's sweet potato cobbler.
Mm.
And that sounds amazing. I have never had a sweet potato cobbler, but I want that immediately.
I've
Scargy
never
Mama,
had
can we
sweet
come over for
potato cobbler.
Thanksgiving?
I'm not a big sweet potato dessert fan.
Oh,
I don't like.
I love
I don't like. I don't
sweet
like
potatoes.
pumpkin pie.
No, pumpkin pie is
I don't
garbage.
like.
Get that out of here. Get that
I
trash
don't
out
like
of here.
sweet potato pie. Like I'm not like a big. I don't know.
Oh, Allison.
I'm not like or like that yams and
Oh,
marshmallows dish.
one of the best dishes is just like candy yams, and like in soul food,
Oh.
that's not like a holiday thing. That's like an any time of the year thing. And oh man, some candy. Like for me, all I need is like some stuffing, dressing, whatever you call it. That's probably dressing because it's not inside the turkey. Dressing,
Mhm.
some candy yams, and like some macaroni and cheese, and I'm set. Like I don't need get the turkey out here. I don't want that. I don't care.
I don't want the turkey either.
No.
We've been eating whenever it was just me and Matt, if we weren't traveling, we would buy these rice dressing, like Southern
dressing.
Louisiana rice dressing stuffed chickens.
Rice
And
dressing.
so it's a chicken that's been seasoned, like spicy chicken, and it's raw, but it's stuffed with Cajun rice dressing, and you cook it in the oven, and we'd buy 2 of them, and that's what we eat for Thanksgiving. I love that so
Ooh.
much better than turkey.
Yeah, to me, turkey's.
You don't know what rice dressing
I've
is?
never heard of rice dressing.
We have rice dressing. We don't have what is it that's common with Thanksgiving food? That's like the side, the stuffing. We
It's
don't
like
do
stuffing
stuffing.
or dressing. We like dressing. It's like bread
No,
based, basically.
we don't use bread bait. Like we don't use bread anything. It's always rice dressing. I don't know what's in rice dressing.
I've never heard of rice dressing. I didn't even know that was a thing. I just think of dressing as like whatever it is, crumbled up bread and some
No,
sauce.
I have never I didn't have that until I went to like one of Matt's things. It's like a Cajun rice dressing.
Oh, it makes sense. That's not a thing out here. I've never had rice dressing before.
Yeah, it has pork,
Okay, let me bring this up on
water.
the screen.
Oh, I don't think we have it with chicken
Water.
gizzards.
Okay, let me look at it. I want a big picture of this. Rice
Yeah, but that's
dressing.
what we have is rice dressing. So we would
It kind of
eat
looks like
turkey,
jambalaya.
rice dressing. It's delicious. We would have turkey, rice dressing. And then my grandma would always make, I want to know how would you pronounce this word? I'm going to type it in the Discord.
All right, type it in there. Okay, so Scargy Mama, typing Scargy Mama said, my husband loves to have dressing, collard greens, mac and cheese, and cranberry sauce out of the can for any reason. Cranberry sauce. I've never liked cranberry sauce.
I
but
never have either.
I'm
But
yes
I
on
also
everything else.
my family never had it. How would you say this word, Chris?
praline.
Okay, that's wrong.
What do you mean that's wrong?
It's praline.
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 Well, if you say it
So
with a southern, if you throw on a southern drawl, Then obviously you got to
Pralines.
say praline.
My grandma makes these pralines and they are so amazing. She doesn't make them anymore because she's like 87 or 86 and it's really time consuming. But my mom will make them sometimes. But they are so wonderful that she has to hide the tin can of them, like the tin of them that she makes in a TIN, not
And
number 10. She hides them in her bedroom before she brings them out whenever she used to make them. She doesn't make them anymore. But she would make that and red velvet cake was always our dessert.
Ooh,
Homemade red velvet
I like
cake.
a red velvet cake. I've never had a homemade
then-
red velvet cake though.
Oh my god.
I've only had like a Cheesecake Factory
No.
cheesecake red velvet.
She makes homemade red velvet cake and homemade pralines. And when I was in college, I got Bell's palsy, where the half of your face goes paralyzed.
My dad had that.
Yes. And I was my freshman year in college and I had to wear an eye patch and then they thought I had multiple sclerosis, but I didn't. Everything's good. But I had to wear an eye patch to keep my eyes shut because otherwise you can go blind if you don't blink. And so I would have to keep my eyes, I had to wear an eye patch. And she said, check your mailbox. And I go to my mailbox in this massive student center and I have the left side of my face is paralyzed. I'm wearing an eye patch and I open up my mailbox and it's like 25 individually wrapped pralines in bubble wrap. And I'm literally sitting in this big student center crying, opening up my pralines.
You didn't even take it back to your room?
No, I was just crying and eating my pralines.
It's sounding a lot
unwrapping
like
them
this
in bubble wrap.
Thanksgiving story.
Just being like, oh my god, because it was just like so loving. Because it was like that was love to me. Is like making that dessert and sending that to me. Like that was a form of showing love.
Wow, way to rub
Just
it in
like
for
your
people
dad's
like me who don't
cumin
have.
potato pie. It's a way for him to show love.
Oh, I've never had. So it's kind of like a peanut brittle kind of thing, right?
It is not a peanut brittle.
It's not a. I've never had a praline.
Do
A
not
praline.
call it that.
Is that a peanut brittle? It
It's
kind of looks
not
like
a
peanut brittle.
It has pecans in it, not
I mean,
pecans.
It looks
It
like
has pecans. Okay. Oh, go down, left, that right. Nope, to the right. Nope,
What?
nope.
this.
That one. That's what my grandma's look like.
I can't.
And it's
why
like
is
you
this picture
have.
so
It
little?
is very, very complicated to even make it because you have to boil the sugar to a certain point.
So
You
it's not
have
like
to have candy.
crunchy. Like it's not crunchy like peanut brittle.
It like melts in your mouth. No, it's not crunchy. It like melts in your mouth.
It's a New
sugar.
Orleans treat.
It is, yes. It's really popular. It's a Louisiana, it's a Cajun thing. Praline. And they all call it pralines, but then you come to Texas and they say pralines.
Pralines.
Not
I've
pralines,
never had this before.
pralines. Yeah, but it's a pretty, it's hard to make it. You have to like, I don't know. My mom has made them at home, but they're like, it's really hard. Like, and then if it's too humid outside, they won't cool and set right.
Yeah.
So you also have to know the humidity and dew point outside before you make
Oh
them.
no. Yeah, I won't be attempting those anytime soon.
No,
No.
neither will I. So
And she said, I told my family I'll talk to them later. I'm trying to think outside of sweet potatoes. For me, I think
what did I say?
I would say sweet potato pies. I think for sure it would be probably it's like mac and cheese and greens and like some type of roll. Like all that together to me is Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yeah.
See, we never had mac and cheese growing up.
Never?
Not as well, no, like as food, but never at Thanksgiving.
Well, it's a black staple. Like it's not
Okay.
Thanksgiving unless you have macaroni and cheese. Somebody has to have brought
Really?
macaroni and cheese, or you have a big
Homemade,
missing.
right? Please tell me
Yes,
it's homemade.
it's not a craft.
Okay.
You can't like the craft little elbow noodles. Like it's like
no.
baked deep
Okay.
mac and
Baking and-
cheese.
Look, Beth Ann gets it. She says baking in Florida can be difficult due to the humidity. It is.
I mean, the air is just water. That's why it's hard to probably even turn the oven on. It's just it's just liquid in the air.
Oh my god.
Yeah, see, Logan agrees with me. You have to have mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is a staple. Like it's
Okay.
at every Christmas and Thanksgiving. There's mac and cheese. There's always greens, and then I would say,
Mhm.
After that's like and then candied yams. Like that's like the next. Like those are the three staple sides that you gotta have for the holidays.
See, we always had in my grandma Flores' house. It was always chili rellenos, tamales, homemade tamales. It was always homemade tortilla chips and enchiladas, cheese and chicken enchiladas. That was our Thanksgiving. And then my grandma Winston's house, it was like chicken and then a whole bunch of desserts. Rice dressing. I don't remember what other people brought.
Yeah. Someone here said, you said tamales. Tamales, growing up in Southern California, tamales are always something we had during Christmas too. Like we would always buy them from, I would get them at work, or my dad would buy them from someone in the neighborhood or like around the area. So that was always something we had too.
Yeah.
It wasn't part of the main meal, but it was like around Christmas time we would have tamales.
I don't know if my grandma made the tamales or if she bought them from someone who made them, but she would have them at Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then Christmas was usually the same. Christmas, we had the same type of
repeat,
like Mexican, basically. Yeah, kind of a repeat. But yeah. And then one of our other traditions that we started probably whenever I was like in high school, or maybe, is my mom's a dietitian. She's a nutritionist. She's big on nutrition. So after we would eat, we would go out and play soccer. So like we never, like I didn't grow up sitting around watching football. Like that was not a thing we did after Thanksgiving.
You got to go into a coma. You got to go to a slight food coma.
Yeah. So like we didn't do that. We would go to a park and we would play soccer together. And so that's what we did. And so that's what my mom does with my kids. Is like as soon as it's over, everyone rests, like everyone will chill for a little bit. And she's like, let's go outside and play. And we like run around and play soccer, usually it's soccer is what she wants to play. So.
That's probably the smart thing to do after eating all that much food.
That Matt doesn't participate in that part because that was not his tradition.
He's watching the football game, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's the Cowboys. The Cowboys.
It's always the Cowboys every year.
Yeah.
Subjective.
You know why, right?
Why?
I asked him this. I said, how do they always get that spot? Apparently,
propaganda.
I didn't know this. Apparently, back in the, I don't know, a long time ago, maybe 70s, they had, what did they have? They had Sunday football and they had something else. But after Thanksgiving, what would people watch? People wouldn't watch anything, or they would watch regular TV or something. But the NFL decided, okay, let's show 2 games. This is very distracting when you're showing your screen, choosing emojis.
I know. Oh, sorry. I forgot you can see what I'm doing. I was giving Logan a thumbs down for the Cowboys.
And so, anyway, what was I even saying? See, you already got me distracted.
He said they didn't know what people were watching right after Thanksgiving.
So what they did was the NFL said, hey, do any teams want to volunteer to play on Thanksgiving? And everyone thought that the ratings, that no one would watch it because they were like, no, people are with their family on Thanksgiving. No one's going to watch the TV. Like no one's going to watch the football game because everyone's spending time with their family. But the Chicago Bears and the Cowboys, right, stood up and they said, okay, we'll do it. We'll play on Thanksgiving, and then whoever plays us has to play on Thanksgiving that day. And so the Chicago claimed the 12 o'clock time, and the Cowboys claimed the 3 o'clock time. And what was an amazing turn of events was that everyone loved it. And Matt says that's when he thinks that the Cowboys became America's team because it was just
because they ruined Thanksgiving. Got it. They tore families apart instead of spending.
I think you're mute. Are you
instead
muted?
of spending quality time together? Hold on, let me get Allison out of here.
Don't mute me! Don't mute!
So instead of people spending time with their families, they were instead subjected to subpar football. That's what I'm hearing. I'll let you back in, Allison.
Listen,
yeah.
I could care less. I could care less about the football games. Okay.
I was just messing with you. Okay, let's see. Okay.
Wasn't it the Cowboys and Lions? Oh yeah, maybe it was the Lions. I don't remember. I just threw out another team name. One of the other animals. One of the other scary animals you shouldn't approach in nature.
Okay, wait, back to Discord here. Angie said we do 50-50. There is a turkey, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, along with salsa de molcajete, beans, Mexican rice, and homemade tortillas.
Oh, see, that sounds good.
That's a good mixture.
The 50-50s are best.
I like that.
I like that. Ooh. I like the 50-50s.
Beth Ann said we made homemade ravioli for Christmas, and it takes a ton more flour due to the humidity.
Oh my gosh, that sounds
I
incredible.
would love some. Okay, I'm gonna make trips. I'm going to Scroggy Mama's. I'm getting that sweet potato cobbler. I'm gonna come to
We should
Angie's.
just do a tour.
Go to Beth
We're
Ann's.
just like, listen, guys, we're gonna come to everyone's house.
Yeah,
We're gonna sleep on your sofa.
we're gonna
You're gonna
cry.
make us your best food.
We're gonna sit at the table and cry and make a
We'll-
scene.
We'll all wear black. We'll all wear goth clothes. Okay. I'll run by Hot Topic and get everyone some spiky necklaces. It'll be
Look,
good.
this has to be our tradition. Next year, before Thanksgiving, we're gonna dress as goth kids and do the episode that way. I think that's the only appropriate way to do it.
Okay. I mean, you already have the black shirt. We just need to get you like
I'll get some black eyeliner.
get some black eyeliner. Yeah. Get some spikes.
I can do
Use
it.
Some spikes. It'll be good. It'll be really good. I love it.
I think that needs to be
love
that's our new Thanksgiving tradition.
Okay. Oh,
let's
I
see.
love traditions.
Here we go. For Scroggy
Oh,
Mama.
ham.
She said it's all about the ham, not the turkey for Scroggy
I
Mama.
agree. I 100% agree. It's all about the ham.
I don't really want either of them, but I'll take the
Oh, I
dark
love me
meat
some
turkey
ham.
over the ham.
Well, of course.
I'll take a ham
I'm
sandwich.
telling you need a chicken that is stuffed with Cajun rice dressing. I am telling
That's not a thing
you,
out here. It's just already done, or are you doing it?
it's already done.
Yeah,
So
they don't just sell
buy
that
it
here. You don't get a
frozen.
rice.
They have them at Kroger here.
In Texas,
They have-
Kroger.
That's true.
We don't actually
They
we don't have Kroger in California.
Okay, they have them at Ralph's. Okay. But no, they're so amazing. And they even sell them at Buc-ee's. The Buc-ee's ones are really good.
Okay, I don't know anything about Buc-ee's because there are no Buc-ee's here. But I've heard something about Bucky Nuggets or something like that. Bucky
Oh, I don't like the beaver nuggets.
Beaver Nuggets.
I don't really care.
What
for
is
them.
What is that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Sugar?
They're just nasty. No, I don't even think they're sugary. I don't know. I don't think I've actually had them. But
Let's see what else. Angie.
the beaver
tamales
nuggets are
for
so good. Scroggy Mama, I don't care for them. But I do love like Buc-ee's. Oh, Chris, if you ever come visit me, I'm gonna take you to Buc-ee's, and we'll just walk around and you'll just savor it because it is a really amazing place. Like, number one, the bathrooms are incredible. Like the Buc-ee's near us, because I mean it's like a place that you would go to on a road trip. Like anytime we leave, we stop at Buc-ee's and you get your candy, you get your snacks.
So it's like a
You go
big
to the
gas
bathroom.
station convenience
It's
store.
a massive, massive gas station, but it's incredible because, like, number one, the bathrooms, it's all individual stalls. Our Buc-ee's
Wait
is
a
like,
minute. All individual stalls. What are the bathrooms normally?
I'm sorry.
I was like, what bath? Are you going to troughs? Is that how your bathrooms you normally use? Just open pit and everybody stands
That's
over it?
how you do. Sorry. Look, Scroggy Mama even says we stop anytime they travel. The best bathrooms. I am telling you, they have someone in there constantly cleaning them. They're like their own rooms. So the bathrooms, it's not like a stall where you can look under. It's their own
It's like a
rooms.
closet.
Ours have a light on it. Whenever it's green, it's empty. When it's red, it's like thing. And then they like lock. And they have some of them, you have hand sanitizer in the stall.
Oh, this
with
is fancy.
you. It is ridiculously fancy. And they constantly, there's like people that work at Buc-ee's that spend I'm sure they trade off in shifts. There's always someone in there cleaning.
Okay, I gotta look. I want to see if I
Always.
type in Buc-ee's. What's the nearest Buc-ee's to where I live?
Oh my gosh. The paintings. And so not only do they sell food, but then they sell items, they sell clothing, they sell home decor, they sell all these things. And it's just like a place that people go and freak out. I mean, they just love it. They love it. But they have really good brisket sandwiches. They have
So
really
like
good
food?
breakfast tacos. Yeah, so they sell homemade fudge. They have like
What is going on in this place?
like Scroggy Mama just said, the brisket. Their chopped brisket sandwich is amazing.
So this
They
is a
have
Texas thing,
homemade
right?
Chips. I don't know where it started. I think it started in Texas. Yes,
Yeah.
Texas. Scroggy Mama, where do you live? Tell me that. So it is like,
So the nearest Buc-ee's to me.
Where is it?
Let's see. It's only going to
Georgia.
take me. Let's give my starting point.
but here's the deal. Not all Buc-ee's are created equal. You need a big Buc-ee's.
So you don't
There
go to
are
a little Buc-ee's.
smaller Buc-ee's. You don't want to go to a smaller Buc-ee's that's just like a gas station. You want to go to one of the mega Buc-ee's. Like the Buc-ee's near us has the longest car wash in America. The longest drive-through car wash in America is where the Buc-ee's near me
Okay,
is.
look, it's only gonna take me 20 hours to get to my nearest Buc-ee's. 20-hour drive.
Like, just fly here. I'll take you to Buc-ee's. I'll take you to this really good burger place called In-N-Out Burger we have. And
In-N-Out is our Buc-ee's.
but it is just like, yeah, Scroggy Mama says it's like a Costco meets gas station, but with better bathrooms. It's just amazing. But it's so clean and everyone's so happy in there. It's just really, really, really good. I don't know what else to tell you, Chris.
I don't, and then Scroggy's breakdown of the beaver nuggets, I think she put in there. She said it's like, where's it at? She said, think about them as pop cereal, but on steroids. And I kind of like that because pop cereal is delicious.
Yeah, I don't know. I like getting I like always getting I love their brisket sandwiches. I love their homemade chips. They
have homemade chips?
Homemade potato chips near their brisket sandwiches. Yes.
This is some real
then
southern
you can
stuff.
go
You're not
to
gonna get that out here.
You can go to the fudge counter where they have homemade fudge.
Fudge counter.
There's a fudge counter. Then there's a whole other counter where you can go up and just order food. Like you just order other food. We usually stop on like road trips. So we're not stopping for like a meal, but we usually get stuff to like tide us over kind of for like several hours. And then we always stop at the bathrooms. But we have like big Buc-ee's in between all of the major cities. So if we go from Houston to Dallas, there's one. If we go from Houston to Austin or Houston to San Antonio, like they make them and then they advertise on the road. They'll be like, next Buc-ee's 296 miles. And then they'll have a huge sign like every 20 miles. It's amazing. Like they'll be like, you can hold it. Like wait for the best bathrooms. And by that time, you're like, I'm done. I'm going. Let's go.
Yeah, see, I noticed that like whenever I leave Southern California, you see like those billboards for stuff that's like 100 miles away. Because out here, there's no gaps. That's probably why we don't have one. There's no room to put a Buc-ee's out here. We've built every open spot.
We have gaps in Texas, but it's amazing. It's pretty good.
Huh. Okay. All right. That's good to know. I got to make that my my new tradition too. I add that to my Thanksgiving tradition.
What? I didn't say we go for Thanksgiving.
Going to Buc-ee's. You go to Buc-ee's. You get you some beaver nuggets, some fudge.
I'm going to go to Buc-ee's and I'm going to FaceTime you.
I want you to go to Buc-ee's. How far is your Buc-ee's from you? Like you have one within like a reasonable distance?
I have one like 15 minutes down the road.
Okay, I want you to go and I want you to mail me some beaver. I'll give you the money. I want you to mail me some beaver nuggets.
Okay, I'll go tomorrow. I'll FaceTime you.
Okay, I will send. Let me know how much.
Tomorrow or Saturday.
Okay.
I
want to
I'll let you know how much it costs and everything. I'm gonna buy you a couple of things. We'll go through. We'll FaceTime.
Mail me a brisket sandwich too.
Ooh, that's not gonna be good for you after that time. Oh, can we share before we go? I want to share a funny story. So we have a snow cone place out here called Bahama Bucks.
Oh yeah.
And one day Chris and I were recording, and maybe we had finished recording.
Tell us this story, Allison.
Oh, I had that.
Go ahead. You can tell it again. Maybe they didn't hear it. Maybe some new people didn't hear it.
So.
Yeah, they probably heard
it. Anyway, my son was cute. Okay, fine. I'll tell it. And I said, said, oh, we're going to go get Bahama Bucks. Chris was like, what's that? I said, the snow cone place. And so he was joking around and saying, will you mail me some Bahama Bucks? And so I was laughing, and I think my oldest son was in here, my youngest son was in here, and I don't think they were hearing, but they were listening to my side of the conversation, like, oh yeah, we'll get you a Bahama Bucks and mail it. So we go to Bahama Bucks, and my youngest son, who's like probably 6 or 7 at the time, we're like, go and we order, and he's like, Mom, are we gonna get that man one? And I was like, what? He's like, that man in your computer? Are we gonna get him a snow cone and mail it to him? I was like, oh, sweetie, no.
You could have put it like in a little pouch and ziplocked it and mailed it
dry
over to
ice.
Me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Look at Scroggy Mama's trying to figure out how she can get to the next Buc-ee's on her trip.
She's planning it out.
I'm telling you, people love this place.
Like, I've heard about it. I don't even live anywhere near Buc-ee's, and I've heard about this place.
Really? I mean, people love it. Like, it's like, and to me, I guess I've just always had them nearby, so I'm never like, I'm never like, what's the big deal? Yeah, I'm just like, oh, this is just what we have, guys. So, anyway.
All right. Well, I think we're almost at the 2-hour mark.
Wow.
Since I hit record on QuickTime, I think it's probably time to call it a night. We'll let everyone go get some rest. I know it's getting late for all of you over on the East Coast.
I'm exhausted.
Oh, so as we mentioned, there's no more regular episodes for the rest of the year, But if you have an awkward story like Scroggy did, you can send that in to us. But in the meantime, we're still going to be doing regular episodes. So I think we're going to probably keep our every 2-week rotation with the Patreon episodes, unless we have we record an excessive amount of something and we gotta, we can split it up. But we'll probably just keep our normal recording schedule for the time being, right? Until it runs into other.
Oh my gosh. Scroggy Mama, you're the best. Chris, we can only see your cool picture now.
Wait.
Oh my gosh, that's the best.
Sorry, I was going here to get my calendar so I could see.
Yeah, so this episode we're recording right now will come out on the 16th. And then we are going to record again on November 17th. So in 2 weeks from today, we're going to record Patreon only, same time. We just won't go as long. And then that'll be the episode that comes out on the...
I think the 7th.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And then
but basically, we're going to record November 17th and we're going to record December 1st.
Yeah, for sure we have those locked in.
Yeah.
Then maybe we can figure out something special to do sometime between then and the end of the year.
Maybe again on the 15th.
Okay, yeah. Thankfully, our 2-week rotation falls off holiday weeks.
I know, it's perfect actually. My kids get out of school on the 16th, so that's when it'll become a little bit harder for me.
Got it. Okay, so we're looking at every 2 weeks until the 15th for sure, and then we'll give you the updates as we get closer and figure out some stuff. We gotta figure out something special to do for the holidays. I don't know what yet.
I know. We should have a holiday party.
Oh yeah, we said we're gonna do that. Where we just hop on I think Discord. We can just do video calls. We know because Scroggy Mama one time accidentally turned on video.
We could do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Do a holiday party.
We got to figure that out.
Yeah,
we'll send you all some stuff in Discord and Patreon, and then try to coordinate schedules to see what's a good day.
Angie says I finally cleared my evenings to listen to the night recordings, and now there is no more. No, Angie, join us on
We're gonna keep recording. We're still gonna keep.
Tell your family you're busy. Okay, you are busy on November 17th. You are busy on December 1st and possibly December 15th.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We got you locked in.
Don't free up that time for them. They're gonna take it and waste it.
Yeah. Gotta have some boundaries here.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
Okay, this was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us, you guys. We really always appreciate y'all being here with us.
We do. It's great.
All right.
Okay, everyone, have a good night.
Have a good night. I'm gonna hit the end button. We'll see you all in
Bye.
2 weeks.